Hey everybody, welcome to this new video where Solaris Ray is gonna do a Let's Discover of Interstellar Space Genesis. I did a previous video about this introducing the series, but just as a quick reminder, we are going to play this game. I recently purchased it. I played through the tutorial. I played 50 turns or something like that, and now I'm doing the Let's Play with you. So we can discover a little bit more this game together, and you can see my first impressions as I'm playing the game, and you can have a good idea if this game is for you or not. And once I will be a few hours in the game, I think I will divide it in the videos of approximately 30 minutes each. I would give at the end of the Let's Discover my review. And I would say, who I think this game would be the best suited for, in my humble opinion. But I can already tell you there's a lot of things that I like about the game. There's a fair amount of things that I don't like about the game, and that's fine. But globally, I'm having fun so far. And let me show you a little bit more about what this game is about. So in the previous episode, we created a brand new race because this game allows you to, a little bit like Stellaris, and I think Galactic Civilization does it as well to some degree, to create your own playable race. So I did that, and the race that we created is the Solaris, which is an ice race. And actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken...
This is the diplomacy status screen.
Okay, so that's the diplomacy screen. That's great. That's designs. Oops. Where is... Yeah.
It can be tough for an empire.
Okay. So this is the empire that we created, right? So it's the Solaris, which is different from the kayak. The kayak is the default ice race in the game, and we created another ice race with different perks. And those guys, for example, they can live in a medium gravity world. They're creative, but they're not good diplomats. They're very good with research and culture generation. We also have the two unique abilities that acts around research and culture. We haven't discovered anybody yet. And as you can see, we have a fair amount of information that resume all the perks that we have, the penalties, etc., which is pretty cool. I really like it. And we have the hive mind. So you have the summary of your species there. And once you will discover other races, that will pop here, and you will be able to compare your race with the other races, which is pretty good, right? I found like the UI there is more efficient, cleaner than Distant World Universe in some aspects, right? And there are some other aspects where I prefer Distant World Universe. In comparison to Galactic Civilization 3, though, I don't know. I think Galactic Civilization 3 is having a pretty good UI for what I played with. I don't know. I just feel that this game, the feel that I have from this game is like the people that made it have done everything that they could, or paid a lot of attention to details on the details that matters for them, right? So they made sure that for the things that would be fun, everything is laid out, very visible, really and accessible, with a lot of text and help all over the game, so you can get into the game pretty easily. And I do agree, like one of the things that I like about this game in comparison to Galactic Civilization 3 is like you can actually manage your ship in battle, which is not something that you can do with Galactic Civilization 3 or Stellaris either. In this game, you can actually control each ship on a battle grid and fire them, turn them, do everything that you want to do in combat. And that's one of the big pluses of that game. Anyway, let's begin a little bit in the explanation here. So if we click here, we see we have our planet. And as you can see, there are a lot of information. So you can rename your planet if you want. Like, I don't want to. I'm happy with that. And I haven't seen that yet. But there's obviously a phase in the game where, of course, people can invade your planet. So there is what we call the ground combat phase. So there is the space combat phase where you have spaceships, and you have the ground combat phase where they invade you try to invade your planets. And here you can see, the ground combat strength of the planet that you have so far, the gravity level, and also how rich the planet is in terms of resources. And as you can see, like, they try to do a good job. Like this, for example, it's a shield for defense. This, they try to represent gravity. Here, they try to represent like a kind of a cat with ore in it. So it's very, very well thought, I think. Like, the UI is trying to do a good job of letting you know what everything is. And here, for example, the ecological level, that represent how good a specific type of planet is in its category. So let's say, for example, you have an ice planet where it's a level 1, okay, in eco level. So eco level 1 in the ice planet type. And to be ideal for an ice race, you have 3 levels. You have 4 levels technically. You have 0, and after you have 1, 2, 3. And for example, if you have an ice planet 0, it's going to be not as good as an ice planet 3 for growth and all that stuff. So I like the idea. Here you can see also the morale of the population, and the morale affects a lot of things in the game. It's a very important factor. Production, how much points of production the planet can output. The population, and how much turn it would take to have a new pop. And you can see it there. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 8 population. So this doesn't allow you cannot click them, move them around. But what I like about this is, like, it's showing you how much pop you are having. But beyond that, it's showing you, for example, if you have part of the population that is the Sulians and part of the population is humans, then you will see how much of which is in there. And also, if the population is suffering, like they're in a high gravity area that will have weight, if it's in a not a good environment for them, like an acid planet that will have a gas mask. So it just try again to give you a feel of how the population is living in the world, right? Infrastructure, that's gonna help with the efficiency of the planet. So the better infrastructures you have, the more productive you're gonna be. And there they're saying like how much infrastructure that's the money, the tax. So we are gaining at the moment from the taxes almost 9 in inputs. It's 8.8. So that's what you can see. And this is actually the specific output of this planet. So at the moment we only have this planet, so you can see that this is fairly equal to that minus expenses, because this is the output, but this is the output minus the expenses. But yeah, it's pretty good. You can see how much the planet is generating. You can see it there. You also have the possibility to put a governor there. So do we have already a leader? We'll have to check this out. Okay, so here is the production allocation. So this is telling how much the planet, or how much of the production allocation you want to allocate to a specific area. So there are 3 areas. There is actually the planetary engineering, which will help you growing your population. There is the infrastructure, which will help your planet grow stronger in terms of infrastructure so they can be more productive. And there is actually the manufacturing or the construction, because there when you're going to have a construction queue, you can say, no, I don't want to my population to spend time in improving the planet's productivity. I want the population to dedicate time in producing stuff that I need to be produced, right? So you can use the triangle to do that. And let's say, for example, I take I don't want a frigate. Let's say I want to have a survey ship. If I take the circle there and I move it towards production, as you can see, the number of turn that is going to be requested is going to be reduced because there is more production allocation to the manufacturing of the ship. But if I move it all the way up to the infrastructure, then the number of turns that would be requested to improve the infrastructure is going to be reduced, right? That is 28. But if I put it away, then you see it's increasing to 99 plus. And that's the same for the planetary engineering, right? You can see the population there. If I go all the way, that's 33 turns required to have a new pop. But if I move all the way here, it's only 20 turns, right? So once again, this is a pretty good tool, very efficient, I felt, to micromanage your planet without having to spend too much time on it. You can also put the circle with the bullseye there, will go straight at the center, or you can use a bar there, you know, to have a little bit more precision. You can lock it, for example, so like what is remaining is still moving, you know. I personally like the triangle, so I'm gonna use the triangle, and we're gonna go there. Okay, now. Okay, so that is the habitat control. So you can have improvement on the planet that can try to improve the population growth. So at the moment, we just have habitat control. These are the things that you can construct at the moment. A star base or better orbital station is required to refit ships. Okay, so this is to refit ships, and that needs to be done on orbit, which makes sense. This is the construction slots, so that's how much infrastructure you can put in the planet, or how much, how can I say, it's not infrastructure, it's more how much slots do you have to improve the planet, which is a little bit different from the infrastructure. The infrastructure is going to help you increase the productivity, but this is going to help you do improvement on the planet, just like in Galactic Civilization 3, where you have hulls and you can feel the hulls. But here, instead of like in Galactic Civilization, where you can put the things and having interaction between things, then the game is just going to put it somewhere for you. And it says like, okay, you have 6 slots, so you can fill this area with 6 improvements. And after you can select the one improvement in question, you can destroy it later if you want to replace it by something else, or you can try to grow and have more slots. But at the end of the day, you know, you don't have as much interactions between the infrastructure as you have with Galactic Civilization. So it's like, yeah, okay, so you have a pretty good level of interaction with your empire, but not as much as Galactic Civilization. But at the same time, you can control your ships in this game, and in Galactic Civilization you can't. So it is coming back to the point, like, what is important for you in a game, right? If for you it's important to micromanage everything, etc., empire wise, then maybe Galactic Civilization is better for you if you're not interested too much in combat. But if you are more interested in combat and less interested in micromanaging all your tasks and things like that, then this game will be maybe better suited for you, right? Once again, the feeling that I'm having from this game, it's the creator have done everything that they could to focus on what is important to them. And the thing that I think was important for them in that game is try to make a game that is complex and deep enough to engage people in the game, but is simple enough to allow people to enjoy the game and to have fun with the game, right? I really feel that in all aspects of the game, which is kind of enjoyable. I really appreciate the attention that they did. Now, as you can see, I put it in the construction queue as survey ship because I want to begin to explore the solar system. Now, technically, we are supposed to have some frigate that we can use to explore. but the frigates will only be able to explore to basic level scans, and having a survey ship will allow me to explore deeper in the solar systems. Now, another thing that we haven't talked about at all at the moment is the research. So research, as you can see, looks very close to galactic civilization again. I'm making comparison because in my opinion, it's a good way to see where this game fits. And this is what I want to do in this series. I want to see, okay, from all the choices that are out there, who this game is for, and why would I play this game instead of Distant World Universe or Stellaris or Galactic Civilization? What are the things that this game bring in the table that the others don't? And what are the things that this game don't cover than others don't, than others do, I should say. So there are multiple areas. So it's pretty decent. I really like the tech tree, and also you can have it randomized. So that's cool. It allows you to have a more unique flavor to the game. And as you can see, there are 6 sectors of research. There is defense, weapons, economy, propulsion, planet engineering, and constructions. And as you can see, there are different tiers. And of course, further you go in the tiers, the more powerful technologies you're going to have access to, like all the way up to the death ray and things like that, right? But that being said, there is also, like in each tier of each category, once you're going to research something, you're going to have an increase on how much it will cost to research something else in that specific field. So I will demonstrate what that is in the game. But I'm talking about that because in our ratio, remember, we have an ability that gives us the possibility, when we activate it, to research something instantaneously without having to take any turns, and to give us more research points if we continue to research in the same field, and a penalty if we go in other fields. So I think that you have a better visual what that means. But we're going to try to reach the point where we're going to need it. We will see. But I really like the research aspect. It's simple. It can be quite intricate to at the same time to try to figure out what you want to start with, because depending on where you are and what is the situation, you may want to research specific things. Because as I said, like if for example I go with robotic factory, right, and I research that, then to research the surface vault, it would take me twice the amount of time, because I already researched something in the robot factory. So I need to make meaningful choices, right? That's the key thing with this game, and I appreciate it, right? So let's remember what is the focus of the race that we have created. The race that we have created is all about research. So in all honesty, the things that I would like to focus on with this race will be things that can help us improve our research capabilities, right? It's either that or potentially our exploration capabilities. So there, as you can see, when you put on the things, you can see what they all do. But and there is a fair amount that is researched already, which is, pretty interesting. Economical capital, not really. And subsurface space elevator robot factory. Yeah, I don't see necessarily at this point things that can help me increase my research at this stage. They are definitively in the game. But for example, the technological capital, that's what I want. So if I want this, I'm going to need to research something in here first. So, we don't have, so this is the thing, like for example, I don't have an asteroid mining, I don't have an asteroid belt. So it's not a priority for me to research asteroid mining. But if I did, then maybe I will consider it. In here, this is a planetary improvement cultural exchange complex, which increase the SPC and the maintenance, double the galactic amusement. So I presume that that's the morale. So allow the population to meet and travel around the empire and other empires while bringing alien races to our world and ideas. Okay, so it's more like trying to improve diplomacy and things like that, which is not what our race is about. So I think I will go with the economical capital, and that's going to unlock the technological capital. And as you can see, once this is going to be finished, the number is going to appear there. So I will show you once it's finished. And here, as you can see, it's going to take 2 turns to be done. And we are taking 0 taxes. Okay, so I'm going to increase that to maybe 20%. And as you can see, like, because I'm taking more taxes, it's reducing the productivity of the planet, right? Because at 0, for example, I have 146 production. If I increase the tax, it's 132. If I increase it again, it's 118. So I have more money, but I have less production. So it takes more time for the survey to come out. That being said, if I have more money coming in, I can use that. So I can reduce the amount of points. So as you can see, like, this is the number of turn to reach the next increase, right? Progress. So if I increase this, it's not decreasing the amount of turn because it's not generating enough points. So I'm going to reduce this to the max. And there I have 12 in income, and I'm going to use all that to try to push my research as high as I can. Okay, so it doesn't make too much of a difference. It's tier 2. Yeah, it's tier 2. Okay, so if that is the case, then I'm not going to push too much for it. I'm going to reduce my taxes for now, so I can do this quicker. And I'm just going to do that for now. Alright, now let's look at the ships. So this is how the ships are represented in the game. So you're not going to be able, like, you're not going to be able to see them like in Stellaris, like in the map like this, or even in Galactic Civilization 3. Like, you will be able, like in Galactic Civilization 3, to see them move in the map, but you're not going to be able to see them like in Stellaris, like in the map, flying in the solar system and all that stuff, or like in Distant World universe, like literally like going the planet and moving to the system seamlessly. Is not going to be like that. That being said, you can select them that, like here, which is very similar honestly to Galactic Civilization 3, and then you can select one of the ship and point where you want them to go. So as you can see, this is the supply line. So this is how far the ship can go. This is the zone of influence. So people cannot colonize in your sphere of influence. Okay. So I'm going to take the first ship and I'm going to send it to this planet. And I'm going to take the second ship and I'm going to send it to this planet. This star, I should say. All right. Now, there's also another thing that I didn't talk about yet, is the remote exploration. So this is a mechanic that is the first time that I'm seeing this, and it's a very good idea. Personally, I think it's pretty good. It's another way to explore, because here it is, guys. When I first started the game in my previous, like when I was playing in the tutorial, I looked at the map and I said, there is nothing there. just a bunch of stars, clouds, you know. There is no black holes, there is no nova, there is no sites or things like that. And it's because the way that the game is approaching exploration is very different from Disney World Universe or even Galactic Civilization. It's not necessarily all about clearing out the fog of war, because as you can see, we can go all the way back and we can see a bunch of stars and objects, right, in the galaxy. But that doesn't necessarily mean that we know everything that is around us, right? This is just what we can see by default. And therefore, like if you send, for example, a ship in a solar system, that ship with its basic scan will be able to see the different planets and things like that. But with remote exploration, what you can say is like, okay, I would like my empire to spend time and resources to actually use lenses or I presume or remote scans or things like that to investigate a specific area. So as you can see here, this is where we are, and this is the number of turns that it would take to see if we uncover something in this area. And if you look on the side here, right, then you will see like if after the 8 turns, what they say, like potential discovery, rogue planet, it's likely, boson star is likely, monster unlikely, right? But it says that in terms of stars, right, it's 4. It discovered 40 in this area, but so what it means is advanced, but it will bring the advanced to 4. So if, for example, I go in the system and we see the scanning of the system is just advanced, right? So that means that it could be other stuff in the system and we don't know about it because we don't see it yet. We didn't scan for it yet. But if I spend 8 turns trying to figure out what is more in my quadrant of the galaxy, if I can say, then I may find other stuff. Now, that being said, I would like to spend that time more in covering the side there, because it's gonna take less time. Instead of taking 8 turns, it would take 4 turns, and it's gonna help me discover stuff, right? And also the cool thing is, like, depending on where you point the mouse, it will tell you what you can expect finding. Like, for example, in this area, it say, no, you will not find any stars there. But in this one, there is a blue star. You will be able to research it further, and you have the potential to maybe discover black holes, neutron star, brown dwarf, and all that stuff, right? So I think I'm going to try to select this, and in 4 turns, we will see what we can find. And yeah, let's move our first turn. So you see, like, this is the next turn, and our ships are traveling. So this is how the ships are being represented in the game, all right? So the only moment where you're going to have a full 3D representation of the ships is when they would be fighting. Other than that, or when you would be in the ship design. But other than that, it's just going to be icons and images, right? So just so you know. There you go. So economic capital. Managing the economy of a city or a single nation is one thing. Managing the economy of a galactic empire is completely different. Centralizing the economy power and decision making on one planet helps you control your economy better. So it's going to increase by 50% the production of tax revenue on the colony, plus 10 BC on the colony, minus 1 construction slot in the colony because it's going to take it. So that's pretty good. If I go in Sulian 1, I can see that now the economic capital is available in the available constructions. So I can just click on it and it's going to appear in the queue after the survey ship. Okay. And after the improvement will be displayed here, and we'll be able to see it in the map there. And the remaining slot will go from 5 to 4. Right. So What's next? All right, so we have a fleet report, and boom. Okay, so this is more what you can expect graphically from the game in terms of solar system, right? And it's not too bad. The star looks cool, it's turning around, you have the rings of asteroids, you have the planets turning around themselves, but you don't have the planets turning around their orbit though, okay? You also have, for example, icons showing like, oh yeah, you have a belt there, an asteroid belt. So you can create outposts in the asteroid belt, but you're not going to have like a graphical representation necessarily. You're just going to have an icon there. So it's very important to see like, okay, well, is the way that the game is displaying the information okay with me, right? Or do I want something a little bit more graphical representative, right? So that's a call that only you can make. Me personally, at the beginning, I must say I was output by this display. It's not like that it's ugly or anything. It's just, as I said, like I'm more used to Stellaris, or I'm more used to Distant Worlds display, but or even Galactic Civilization 3, even if Galactic Civilization 3 doesn't represent the things like in full 3D all the time, and it's very map-like and very fixed, a little bit like this game, it's still like you have the representation that is not showing like that. You see the planet, you see the solar system, and it's all integrated in the map. Whereas here, the way that the game is managing it is like, okay, you have the galaxy view and you have the system view, right? So once you're in the system view, you cannot move around. You cannot, if you move around, you're going to go directly to the galaxy map, right? You cannot zoom on a planet. You can only go in a planet. And if you haven't explored the planet, you can't even zoom on it, right? So if I go in my system and I click on that planet, then I can see the inside of the planet, but I cannot zoom closer to the planet to have nice views and things like that. So once again, this game is not about graphics, okay? This game is more about gameplay, which is fine, but you need to take that under consideration when you choose the game, right? It's pretty important. Okay, so as I can see there's a bunch of planets, some of which we could colonize. Like we could colonize barren and desert worlds. And it's medium gravity. But you see, like, we don't know how rich it is, and we don't know if there is any special sites or anything about it. So that's why when you're sending a frigate, for example, and it's not a surveying ship, you're going to see what is in the solar system, but you're not going to be able to see deeper than that. It's just going to be a basic scan of the solar system, all right? But it's still helpful. So then you can take the ship, move to the next system. Now, here, as you can see, I researched the economic capital, but now I want the technological capital because that's what our race is about. And this is culture. Okay, so culture is very similar to Civilization 6 with cultures that you can develop, and also a Galactic Civilization 3 has that, like different ideologies and things like that. And that's a little bit the same thing. Like you can unlock perks in the game as you progress, which is pretty cool, and some of which are pretty neat, right? Like, for example, the adventure one is more about exploration. The wealth one is about, wealth, money generation, and all that stuff. And knowledge is about research and also exploration. Because if you look, for example, there you can select a point in here and say, oh, if you select that perk, you're going to have a free colony ship. And when the first standing colony is going to have 2 extra pop, which is very good. But if you select this, you can have +2 travel speed, and you have 2 travel speed when you go into the nebula instead of 1. Because when you go in the nebula, you're being slowed down. So you see like this is going to increase your speed and this is going to help you with your colonies. The thing though is like if you select this, you cannot select that anymore, right? But if you select this, you can still select that. So that means that the choice is per level and per tier. So in this tier, you can only make one choice, right? But you can put 1 point in adventure, 1 point in wealth, and 1 point in knowledge. And if you remember what our race was about, our race, Enlightenment, requires us to unlock 1 perk in every branch, culture branch. So adventure, wealth, and knowledge. And if we do, then we can use our ability, right? Which is going to enable us to reduce by 50% the amount of points where we need to unlock the next culture, right? So if we go back in here, then that means that I need to select 1 point here, 1 point there, 1 point here. And the first thing that I want to look into, at least in this particular instance, it's this, because this will allow me to make 2 remote exploration at the same time instead of 1, and that's extremely strong. All right, so when I go out of there, you see, you have another remote exploration at your disposal. So we are already working on this one, but we can choose for another one. And the other one, I want to do it in my system because I want to know exactly what is in my quadrant. Right, so there's one that is going for the outskirts and there is one that is going for my system. And once I will know everything that is in my system, I can explore even further beyond. Okay, so and there we have researched the technological capital. And that's going to generate 100% more research points on the colony, -5 from maintenance. Right, so it's going to cost us some money to maintain and 1 slot. So when I'm going to go in Sulian 1, once again, I'm going to see technological capital. All right, and I can put it here because I want the technological capital to be a priority above the economic capital. Now the survey ship is going to take time. So I personally think that I want to have this thing I want this thing here actually. Why? Because I would like the infrastructure to progress and I want this to progress. But at the same time, when I will have the survey ship, we're going to be able to gather more knowledge quicker. Yeah, I think I'm going to stay with this. I want this to be out as soon as possible. But the drawback by doing this is the population is growing super slowly and the infrastructure is not progressing. So maybe what I would do, I will concede maybe a few, like 9 turns, but still want to have my infrastructure progressing, right? Okay, now let's go in research. So we research this and that, perfect. But what I would like now is to be able to work on my population growth or, let me see. Yeah, for example, enhance ecology will increase my population growth. So I will do that. It's going to be 6 turns. Okay, so let's see if we can speed this up. So you see it's 5 turns instead of 6. Okay, so there's no point for me trying to boost it beyond 5 because I will not be possible to. So it would be good enough if I try to boost it at 5 turns. And then maybe what I can do is see if I can boost the culture. yeah, if I put everything in culture, I can have it in 5 turns, but I will have 0 money, which is not good. So I just gotta let it be, and I'm gonna try to increase my treasury, right? Now, if we go there, there's gonna be a fleet report. Yeah, and this is 2 barren worlds, which are pretty huge, right? But they are not ice planets. So technically, we cannot colonize those worlds unless we research for it. And here is a tactical resource. It's called helium, that we could exploit if we send a ship there. All right. So we're gonna take that ship, but made the exploration, and we're gonna go to this system. And yeah, that's a little bit ISG in a nutshell for now. I think I will end the video here for this episode, and we will continue in the next one. So if you enjoy the content, please leave a section below to give some feedback. If you want to see specific games, specific things in the game that I haven't covered yet. If you want to see more, leave a like and subscribe. That will really help us out. And as I said, like in this series, I think I would do maybe 3 or 4 episodes, and after I will do my review. So thank you very much, guys, for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.